Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to kind of let you know what's going on. Um, I just emailed our um, county commissioner and their HR department, two different emails about the road and about the dog. Um, my concerns that the guy was more worried about his $750 trap over the dog and the concerned residents who live there. I also emailed and the HR department and complained about the non-response to the speed limit on our road. I don't care to cause waves if I know that I'm in the right. And as a resident here, it is super dangerous for me to even go to my mailbox, insert picture of Frogger, or to even back out of my driveway. Right now, my truck is forward because someone was flying behind me when I was getting ready to pull in. Just take note that these cars are going much faster than 30 miles per hour. And it's such a problem. And I don't understand why the highway department didn't take me serious. You know, out here, and you would think that this county that I live in is like abutted to the Cincinnati county, would be a little more up to date than the rest of Indiana. Indiana is so far behind the times. It's amazing. We just in the past, I don't remember what year it was because it really didn't concern me any. Could buy alcohol on Sundays. When I was working the feed mill as a young lady, I had farmers refusing to let me use the scale to weigh their truck. They didn't think a woman could use a scale. Now, none of them offered to help me throw 100-pound feed sacks on their truck. They did sit back and watch that. But as far as, things like that. But the guy that I worked with always told him to hush and let me do my job, which was cool. And I did it for 2.5 years. I moved out here with my husband. This property his family has owned since 1969. So, he's always been here. And the one thing that really astounded me was how far behind the times people were back here. Because now, I'm not a city girl and I'm not a country girl. I'm not a girl at all. I haven't been called a girl in years. But the matter of the fact is that I had the taste of both worlds. The Cincinnati life, the symphony, the playhouse, all of that. I was very well involved in all of that, as well as rural country living. But my grandfather always owned like 200 acres of wooded hills in Indiana, and that's pretty much where I grew up. I mean, I was a coon hunter. I never liked fox hunting. I always had a problem with that. One time I went with Grandpa, and it was so cold. And the thing with his with his foxhounds is they would run the fox to him. When he was time to go in, he would blow his horn, and they would come in. And he only ran maybe 2-3 dogs at a time. But the one year it was so cold, and he shoved me in a hollow tree, and I had to stand in that tree for like 3 or 4 hours. And finally I looked at him and said, I want to go home. I don't like this. Coon hunting, I did like back then. I mean, get out there about I don't know, we would leave the house about 10:30 at night. Get in about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I would I loved it. Not per se the killing part of it, but back then, and I can say that, furs were actually worth something. And my grandfather used those furs for extra money. He also hunted ginseng for extra money. You know, there were certain things back then that were worth money. Now, I know ginseng is worth money now, but it is harder to find because people started digging it inappropriately. And there's so many things about ginseng, you know. But anyway, back to this. I moved out here and, you know, it was just so far behind the times. And when I went to the Feed School 101 little seminar, I was the only female in that large seminar. But I had my certificate and I posted it in the mill. I was like, you know, we need to have that up there so that way they know I've been to Feed School 101. But anyway, back to this. The highway department guy, I don't know who he is, but I can tell he has that superiority thing. You know, he's probably worked hard in the field all of his life doing the, you know, the roads and bridges, and he was on hand. And now he probably has a little cushier job sitting at an office, taking calls from people like me who he doesn't even want to hear from. I get it. I understand it. But this is a major problem. And, you know, this is a back road. And this is just a very small expert. This isn't even the time frame of the faster drivers. The faster drivers are like from 6 to 8. These are the ones that are running late for work. They got to get to work. I get it. Get up. Holy moly. My 2 little roosters are figuring it out that they are the only 2 roosters here now, and they've been breeding all morning. As a matter of fact, Tut bred with Chickapee earlier, and Oliver was right there next to him. I'm like, you guys, you know, one at a time, please. But anyway, squirrel. Living so close to the road, I think, is a horrible thing. But all of these houses in this area were built in the 1800s. So it was important to be closer to the road. You know, mud, wagons, so on and so forth. You go from the road, you let your ladies out, whatever. They would climb up the roads and go into their houses. They didn't have to. It's just the way it was. But we're not there anymore. And I hate where the house is. I hate that this house is postage stamped on this property. I would love to be back in the back, but it's just not going to happen. You know, I think even his mother and father had the idea of building a better house in the back, but that did not happen either. So here we are. We're sitting on the road, you know, and you can't make one mistake. You can't have one mistake like your dog get loose or, for example, your cat. I had a sheriff, deputy sheriff, smash my cat at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was outside walking my dog because at that point in time, you know, I was still trying to walk them and my husband was still working. And so, you know, we were still trying to do our routine. And I saw the sheriff's car come through, the deputy's car come through with lights and sirens and probably 80 miles per hour. I mean, I really can't tell because I don't have the scanner, but I would love to have a speed scanner and actually scan some of these vehicles. But what I'm getting to is, you know, the highway department's trucks go up and down here. The county trucks go up and down through here. This is like a road that is fairly good from major road to major road. And so this is kind of like a part of the, what is it? A shortcut. So we're a shortcut, and that's all we are. We're not a community. We're not a residence. We're not a town. And so maybe they just think, whatever, who cares? But this is where I live. And if the speed limit is 30 miles per hour and you're not on an emergency run or you're not, you know, doing those things, you shouldn't be going 80 miles per hour. So I emailed these two departments, one about the dog warden and one about the highway department guy, because these two people are not at all who the public should be talking to. You should not be talking to these people because these people have no respect for you or your property or your rights as a resident. Like the dog warden was so worried about the cost of his trap that he basically is saying that the dog's life and our property are not as important as that $750 trap. Well, I can tell you that I have more than $750 into my chickens. And if that dog were to decide that she was so hungry, which the lady up there might be feeding her, which is good because she definitely wants to stay in that area. She's waiting for somebody. She's absolutely waiting for somebody. And I really want them to catch her because if she's microchipped, I really want her reunited with whomever she's super loyal to. She has not moved. I say she probably has maybe, I don't even want to say 100 yards square, where that's where she stays. And, you know, she'd be a simple catch in a trap, maybe if she were hungry enough. And all of us would go out and we would probably, if there was going to be a weather situation, you know, we would cover the cage after we call them and give her some food and give her some water and just try to make her feel comfortable until they come to pick her up. And this guy don't freaking get it. You know, I don't know. I don't understand it. But this part of Indiana should not be, you know, as backwards as the rest. And maybe Indianapolis isn't backwards, but most of Indiana farm rural areas are so backwards, it's pathetic. And most of the old farmers, though, that, you know, didn't give me credit as someone able to do the job that I was doing are probably dead by now or in a nursing home. So, you know, it's just their generations. Yeah. I don't know, but I just wanted you to see. And like, this is not the prime time. The other time that the cars are going or when they come back from work. So going home traffic or so on and so forth is horrible. You'll have 3 cars every 4 minutes going up and down this road. And that's why I wanted them to get a counter so they could see that the amount of traffic is as high as the speeds that they're going. But this guy would not give me any credit for that, you know. And I think he was the guy who pulled in my driveway and when the bridge was being fixed, and I told him, I said I didn't care if they put it in or not because it actually made it a dead-end road. And the guy across the bridge, he also has chickens and ducks. He's the fella who borrows my incubator. He was happy that it was out because he too was a dead-end road. But this is just a rural farm road, but it's used as an access road and just not appropriately. Well, I'm sorry there's not that many cars going up. I really wanted you to see. Now, as soon as I turn this off, there'll be 20 cars come through. They have no respect for anything. And, you know, I talked about the kids yesterday, but it's not just the kids. It's their parents. It's other people. No one respects anyone at this time. It's all about me, 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 me. And I get it, okay? It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. But you have to have some respect for someone's property, their livestock, you know, their feelings of safe. pulling in and out of their driveway or going to their mailbox. You know, we have to have something done. I don't know. Oh. Now, as soon as I turn this camera off, there'll be a lot more vehicles going a lot more fast, and so on and so forth. But I just want to let you know that I've emailed these people, and I definitely want to let you know what the outcome is on those emails. Are they going to do anything? Probably not. They just think I'm a crazy woman, and that's fine, because I am. Bye, y'all. I'm going to go check my emails. Have a great day. I'm pretty much hanging around the farm today, the homestead. I'm just hanging out here, and I'm going to do minor things to prepare for the dog for Friday. I mean, it's going to be so freaking hot. It's going to be so freaking hot. All right. Hugs from a distance. I've rambled enough. Have a great day.